welcome back to my channel. As you can see, today is another planner video, and today's planner I'm going to go over is the AraVista planner that I am using as my personal goals planner, and I think it's actually maybe turning into kind of like a journal as well. So I wanted to show you what I've been doing so far for the month of January. So for the month of January, I do have the spread here, the monthly spread here. And what this allows me to do is I'm able to see a big picture, sort of kind of my goals, especially I'm using this for reading and financial goals as of right now. So I had things here about paying dues, beginning my book on the 4th, Atomic Habits, in any meetings that I may also have as well, and any important things that may kind of happen throughout the month, which something did, and that will probably be documented later on in a video. But to continue on, what I've been learning to do is, especially for, let's start with my reading. So my goal was to read 2 books a month, but so far I have barely gotten through the first book. So one of the things that I do here is I'm able to write down when I start the book. So on the 4th, I began Atomic Habits. And what I do is I like to go in, and what I started to do was to like to each day that I read the book, I begin to actually write down the title of the book. If you can see here, the title of the book, the page number, and one takeaway from the chapter that I read that day. So this will allow me to have documented, or journal, so to speak, what I'm reading. So in case I don't have to necessarily go and flip back through the book, I can actually take my main takeaway and write it here in my journal. I also, began reading my devotional. I purchased one of those yearly devotionals, and I got it from Hobby Lobby. So from time to time, I'll actually, depending on how I feel about it that day, after I read it, sometimes I will actually write down what I read in the devotional that I bought. I may write something, a takeaway from that as well. And if I don't write it here, I'll definitely write it here on the to-do list. Another thing that I'm using it for as well is for my savings. So I have a few accounts. I have my personal savings account, of course. I have my self-funded IRA, rollover IRA from a prior employer. And I'm looking to open a brokerage account. And plus, as part of this planner, there is a savings component to it as well that you can, the goal is to save $1,000 by the end of the year, to use any way that you wish. So I have actually started that, and I'm going to be using the envelope system, and I'm not using anything fancy. I'm actually just using an envelope that I received from the bank when I got my money out. So I just stick it and tuck it away in there to keep track of that, and that has actually already been funded. Now, how I do with that is I'll go, and I've even made so here, for example, I write down the deposit that I made. So here I made a deposit of $25 into my savings account, and then I had to pay a check for the IRA, making a huge payment to pay them off. I write down the day that I actually made that payment as well. If you can see that, you may not be able to see that because of how everything's looking in here, but we'll continue anyway. So far so good. It's coming along. The one thing that I definitely like is that it shows me the gaps, especially in reading. It shows me my gaps. So I was supposed to start on Monday, but I kind of didn't start reading on the 4th as I was supposed to. It waited a week out. So it actually shows me the gaps if there's nothing written down that lets me know that I didn't read that day. So in order for me to be on pace to read a book, my goal is try to read a book in 2 weeks. Every day would have to be filled. So even here, a little bit from the 11th, as you can see, I didn't read that Monday, but I started reading, or I probably did read, but didn't write anything in. And each day I can tell I've read Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the days that I've read. So it keeps me on track of that, which is great. The other thing here is also, I'm using it sort of as a journal as well. So you have in the back here your January jots, and at the end of each month you're able to write down good, bad, indifferent, anything, any of your thoughts for that happened that month. So for me to kind of start off, I wrote down the 2 books that I wanted to read, and I'm still on the first. Well, 3 books I want to read, and I'll probably carry over the other 2 to the next month. Some other things that happened, I attended my first AirVista VPP planning session, which is a monthly planning session that they hold every month for all of us that are part of the AirVista tribe to get together. This month's topic was finances, to get us going definitely in the right direction. And from that, I was able to figure out, okay, so I need an emergency savings, I need a regular savings, my AirVista savings, deposit into my self-funded IRA, and of course, open my personal brokerage account. Another thing that I've used this for, especially for this past month, 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned it earlier, that I had a hair, how would I say? I had a hair emergency, so to speak, or catastrophe, however you want to look at it. So some things happened, and I was able, once I finally got home and everything was taking place, I was able to come home and jot it down, a little bit of what it is that happened to me. So it was good because I wasn't able to tell anybody right away because I was still dealing with those feelings. So being able to come in and write it down here was a good thing for me to do. I'm also using this in conjunction with, but I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do this. I'm still using this, trying to use this in conjunction with my Moxie Life companion notebooks. Now the system itself is great and it is amazing. And this is one of the 4 undated notebooks that came in with, with the notebooks. There's a total of 4. And I do have a full video walkthrough of this, and I will put that in the description box. And I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I started to use it, putting in little things here. The great thing is that it's undated, so I don't have to use it all this year, which is great. I'm here writing down, my monthly goals. For personal, it might be work on my business, fun and recreation, read 2 books, my spiritual and personal growth, read a daily devotional, and then my financial savings, IRA, and some things here. But then it seems when I get to the weekly, and maybe it's because planning is new to me in the sense of using more than one and actually becoming intentional about my goals, personal and business, that maybe because this is new to me, that I need to really create a system or a schedule for me to really sit down and actually go through each thing on a weekly basis instead of just rummaging it through, not rummaging through, but just going fast through it and not really taking the time to actually focus on each goal and everything that I need to do. And I think with the weekly action plan, this is great because it'll allow me to map out the week. Okay, what do I want to do? What am I doing when I say I'm working in my business or starting, a new book? When did I start it? Reading my devotional and going to the gym 3 days a week, which is kind of already a habit. But then as you can see, I still have weeks that I haven't even used yet. For the month of January, I think it was only the first week of January that I actually did the weekly action steps. And then here I would have the monthly reflections for me to really take a look at. So maybe this will be something that I have to work on for February, is becoming intentional of when I take planner time and scheduling planner time, which is huge, something that I have to work on as well, to really focus on, okay, what it is that I want to work on for the week. If I want to create, a list here of things that I really need to do to dream big, or if I'm moving in that direction, because February is coming up. So I'm definitely going to try it again for February, and I will definitely keep you posted on how this goes at the end of February, things that I've incorporated, if I still use the Moxie Life, if I've used it for something different. But I can definitely say, just even sitting here talking through this video today, I'm realizing that even for this, I cannot just have it be something that I just do just to do, that I have to actually spend some time, either, primarily probably on a Sunday morning or afternoon, schedule some time to where I literally sit down and go through what exactly it is that I want to do for the week, no matter how big or how small, even if it's just savings and reading, to start off small and not putting on too much than I probably should at the time, and gradually build on from there. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. They will definitely, as I go on, I'm becoming a little more comfortable with them, but I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you never miss my next videos. And with that, planner videos, I'll have 2 a month, one for my business goals, one for my personal goals. If there are any additional planner videos that you would want me to cover, please leave them in the comments below, and I will get back and make sure that I take a look at them, because your comment might actually be a next video. So with all that being said, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys next week in the next video. Bye, guys.